Um, let's see. Guest speaker is Janice Messina. She's an intuitive telepathic healer using multiple holistic therapies to help each individual client. Now, I asked Janice to go straight to the when this all near-death experience happened for her, and she said that her surgery was October 15 on 2019, and she had no idea how much her life would transform. During the surgery, her blood pressure plummeted, and she could see herself looking at her body on the operating table. Okay, so can you take over from that? What did you see? What is your experience?
Oh my Jesus, it is so unconditional love. I went from this, I was above the table and I could see the doctor and my very good neurosurgeon scrambling to save me. But after that outer body experience, I went into this all encompassing, forgiving, unconditional white light. So much beauty and love. It can bring me to tears to think of it. I didn't know I could be so fully loved. Um, I had always been an intuitive person, and I spent several years laying down mostly, writing articles and meditating because of my spine and my husband's dying. And it seems to have raised me even before the surgery to a higher vibration. I was given the information, this is when it all started last summer, given the information about a man that I was seeing who was living a completely total double life. And I had no idea. Nice girl am I. And I was being warned, forewarned is fair warned. And it was a blessing from God. So that was kind of like the beginning of my understanding of listening to our guides, listening to that inner voice, loving yourself enough not to just meander, to focus. We all have this ability. It's just a matter of quieting the mind enough. And with that, and I love the practice of Qigong, it really raises your vibration. In in 2000, in the year 2000, I have a couple near death experiences before the big one. My husband we just bought the house, and honest to God, less than 6 months later, he was turning blue the night before the Easter Bunny came. And our life would never be the same. And, we bought that house, we had the baby, you know what I mean? You have a vision.
Yes.
And we became so hopeless. I'm so sorry to say, and I can't believe I'm sharing this, but I'm supposed to do this if this can help others. We felt so hopeless that we let our beloved child stay with my sister for a couple months while we learned. So one night, Brian and I, my late husband, are in separate beds, and we keep feeling these like like a cat, because like going around the beds. And he was a little freaked, so he's like, let's switch beds. And it continued. And I'm glad it happened to him and myself, because it, it was harder just to rationalize, and we needed a lot of healing. I mean, because we had to be the best for our son, which is always to me the most important. So we know we have the gift of angels, and it was beautiful. 10 years later, I have levoscoliosis and other stuff. I just had a spinal fusion. As my physical health was challenged and I listened to a pain doctor, I became overdrugged on narcotics. I went to walk downstairs in the dark one night. Okay, not smart thinking, and tumbled headfirst into the sheetrock. Just missing the wooden stud. Archangel Jophiel came to me again and let me know she would always be with me and that I was needed to show compassion for myself. And as I learned more compassion for myself, I would be more compassionate for others. You see, at the time, I was angry with my body. I used to say things, I wish my left leg could just be cut off. And I met somebody after my husband died who really helped me to get the bigger picture on that, to love myself. I give love and support to my spine every morning for all it does. So, because of this, when you go into the realm, you feel unconditional love. Unconditional love. And when we're babies, we love ourselves so much, and then society kind of squeaks us out of it. But when you go into another dimension where it's just pure energetic light and spirits, we are unconditionally loved here and over there. In the winter of 2019, I was driving down the highway 84, what would be east, left lane passing, home from a Qigong class. I have a little car. When suddenly this big 12-wheel truck, the kind that delivers meat or vegetables, totally sideswiped me. And I was careening to those Jersey barriers. And I felt like my life went before my eyes. And for some divine intervention, my car straightened out. And I swear to God, I did not do it. My car passed that truck who never pulled over. And all these things keep happening in my life to teach me. Sometimes we don't like our lessons, but they are there for a reason. Okay, let me see my glasses. I can't tell you how terrified I was that day. And at some point, I have just gotten used to things happening in my life that I might not like at that time or feel is good for me, and ask for my highest good as we sign on for these lessons, as I know from past lives. Okay, now to October 2019. Through years of physical suffering due to several different spinal alignments, emotional blockages, which create more pain, and being my beloved husband's caretaker, and it was getting grimmer and grimmer. I had kind of been a doormat all my life, and never really learned to love myself, which you have as that infant. And these things were all given to me to learn to strengthen myself and to become all that I can be. So by last August, I couldn't stand being. and I knew I needed the surgery. So the most wonderful doctor Senatus, a back neurosurgeon from Harvard Hospital, did a spinal fusion on me. And I'm so much healthier. But during the spinal fusion, I was so concerned for the anesthesiologist because I had been taking morphine for years, and I was afraid they wouldn't give me enough. Well, I guess he overcompensated because my blood pressure dropped to 0, and then or thereabouts, and all I can remember is this terrible pain, this terrible pain. I couldn't breathe, and it hurt, and it hurt, and then it was all gone as I watched my body on the operating table and watched them call stat and do what they needed to do. The next thing I see is that what I just alluded to, that brilliant, loving, unconditional, loving, bright white light. I don't think of it too much because it just makes me want to cry. It was so loving. I had spent my life in fear and sadness and blocking income no matter how high my education because I didn't feel worthy. And when I went into this space, I learned that we are all so loved and divinely protected that when we let go and learn to love ourselves like we did as infants, you will find anxiety and resentment disappears as you fill yourself up.
Janice, did anyone communicate with you while you were there?
My dad, my late husband, and a higher source about what will happen with the earth.
Okay.
Um, looking at my notes, I really, when I was in the realm, I saw my husband, my daddy, and who I choose to call Jesus, but also God of the universe, up in the back. And throughout the rest, loving spirits, including Archangel Jophiel, who's been guiding me, I have learned all through my life. And Brian mostly wanted to share about this being a time to learn how loved I was and that I was not alone, even in my darkest times. Like I just said, that's for all of us. I am to trust the process, have more gratitude, and have more patience. And Lord have mercy, I need more patience. I run around trying to relieve myself of ego and attachment. I can reach my highest good if I follow this. I know to love yourself first. As you love yourself, you will naturally release fear and anger and spread love on this planet, which we need so much right now. My father talked to me about me giving back, being a speaker, working as a clairvoyant to help people resolve emotional issues. And I keep getting people in my life who are deeply damaged. And through my Qigong energy healing and so much more, I'm able to help them to stop. And I am so thankful. You know, I learned from my spine, because I still have level scoliosis and stuff, to love myself unconditionally, not listen to the doctors. I am not a disease. I'm a human being. And when you get yourself out of the concept of, you know, mainstream medical does the best it can, that when you get yourself out of that concept, you can really work on self-healing. So through my physical suffering, remember I said I wanted to cut my leg off in 2008? I have learned to be so grateful and thankful that I can wiggle my toes, take a breath in the morning, and so on and so forth. I have come to a level of consciousness where I am much more aware and am given guidance all the time, which is such a blessing. So my dad wanted to teach me about what my roles are, and my late husband wanted to just for me to love myself, because until I learned to love myself well enough, I could not. I have this line in here I wrote, Jose. Fear from the near-death experience, fear of death has been removed. If it wasn't for my beautiful son, I wouldn't care. But most importantly, what was instilled in me, besides unconditional love, is that my fear of living my life has been removed. I'm joyous, courageous, and while part of me wants to just stop, like, what are you doing? That's the old childhood broken brain. And I know now that I am here to offer help and love and spiritual inspiration to those who will listen. I have so much more I could say if you want to ask me questions, but that was especially the part where I say fear of living my life has been removed. I am so transformed. I am so transformed. I am so blessed and thankful. And again, if I hadn't spent so much time in bed meditating and praying, I don't know that I would be here. And then the surgery really whacked me off onto the deep end of very psychic. But you know, there's not religion in heaven. It's not like that. And we, you know, our planet is going through a great transition. Mother Earth will flourish again. Living closer to the earth will be the norm. Societies change people, and they change the planet. Not overnight, because we have to have some destruction before creation. This chaos will continue for a while, but a level of peace will return again. And this is mostly for me, impetuous person that I am. Patience, patience, patience. You know, we are light workers out bringing more love. And that is so important at this time. Again, I repeat, I can't tell you enough. Value your life. It's an extremely important to love yourself. How can you have a positive attitude when you're full of self-doubt yourself? And I constantly receive information I know about past lives. It's so beautiful. It's all so beautiful. I think that's my deep breath for right this minute.
Questions?
Or I could say more, but I just need to like chill.
Okay, so I guess now you're open to receive questions?
Of course.
All right. Any questions?
This is Jack. I have a question. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Janice, you have been very general in describing your capabilities. Could you uh, 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 further discuss your methods that you use to help others?
Well, I don't want to promote myself because I'm here to give back.
Well, we're not asking you to promote yourself. We're
I
asking.
know, but I do, when people come into my home to repair something, I have my shield up, but a member of their family might appear to give me a message. I get thank you messages during the night from people whose lives I touched who have passed that I only vaguely remember. And what a gift that is. All I need to do is focus and concentrate on somebody, and the answers will come.
Janice,
I can feel the energy.
Janice, can you think of a specific situation where you actually worked with some of your clients and what happened?
There was a man who I met who was interested in dating me. He was a widower, I'm a widow. And I was able to read him his wife's name and give him messages. And on future projects for him. And this is kind of like the norm in my life. It's kind of like what happens every day. Does that answer your question, Tina?
If you can think of another example, that would probably help us. Thank you.
I have a friend who I've been guided to tell her to break up with this relationship, and I give her reasons why because I know why. But human will, ego, and attachment, I can't necessarily overcome. Only my ego and attachment. But I constantly, if I focus, know what a person's needs are and give healing energy and call out to their relatives who might have a warm, loving message that person needs. I can go on if you want me to.
Well, maybe someone has a specific question.
This is Jack again. I
Hi.
understand that you use music as a way of healing.
Music therapy is so important. I had a certificate, well, I suppose I still do, in TRD, Therapeutic Recreation Director, and I ran Alzheimer's units. And music, I just wrote an article in Epic magazine about therapeutic recreation and doing your own thing. And I talk about things like music and sensory gardens, things that touch your soul, that can help heal you. For Alzheimer's units, you just want to put the music on that reminds them of their past. But for our greater sense, music changes your rhythms in your body and raises you up. And who wants to deny that?
Could you describe some of the specific therapies, music therapies?
Well, I personally, for
Yeah.
me and my cat, do Tibetan singing bowls. I have it on my website. And the Qigong energy healing, I'm a Qigong master. So, you don't have to like work vigorously, but I often like to combine them, a little Qigong movement and maybe a guided meditation depending on a person's needs. And then spirit will often come to share with me what that person needs to hear. How's that?
Well, could you explain to me how singing bowls work and why they work?
Yes, on my website, I wrote a whole article with the NIH. Real on a light form, they work with your parasympathetic nervous system. They work because we are mostly water, and the vibration of the bowls goes with the water. And it has the vibration relaxes your muscles. It's very, very, very good for release of pain and tension. Your muscles will just go, ah. It's a beautiful thing. It really is. It can make a real difference in somebody's life.
So you're saying that the vibrations actually affect our muscles?
Right. And if you go to my website, there's an article from, I was what, Natural Awakenings, I think. I put some of my articles up. But it was about Tibetan singing bowls specifically. So without having the article in front of me right now, I know about what we're mostly water, which makes the bowls vibrate. I have level scoliosis and stuff, and I will just put a bowl on my side and just sound it, and the vibration will get into my body, and I feel better. It is also with qigong, you're getting some movement, and it's called meditation and movement, and releasing and relieving things. There's also a segment of releasing, because people hold energy in, and that's what causes pain. When we're attached to an energy, we are creating our own pain.
Well, that is interesting. So, if I wanted to do musical meditation or musical therapy, how would I know I should go to your website, but just in general terms, how would are drums available? If so, are there instructions? I'm sure there are books out there. Could you give us a little bit more on that?
First, if you haven't experienced meditation, you want to just lay down and focus on your breath. Breathe in with your stomach and chest for at least 4, hold for 2, and release for 6. And this will help set you into a state that releases your vagus nerve, which causes a lot of problems, runs from our brain all the way through our gut, and this energy will help you. When you listen to music you love, it will raise your spirit to a higher vibration. I have found for me, I can't listen to a lot of music of my youth because it makes me want to sob, because that doesn't bring me to a higher vibration. But there's always new music and new life. You know, I've lost, like I said, I've lost my fear of living. I feel part of me is this little broken child still, but most of me is this unstoppable woman that knows that I've been directed for the highest good to help others.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Anyone else?
Dana, you had experience with a Tibetan bowl, didn't you? Dana disappeared.
No, I was
Hi, Tina. It's
working out
Bob.
of Nirvana
Hold
Spa.
on, Janice. Bob
sorry.
might have a question. Hold on. Yes, Bob.
I've used Tibetan
Hey,
bowls
Bob.
for healing. Hi there. Hi, Janice. But I have 3 Tibetan bowls, and friends of mine use them for healing. And Marie Minute, I don't know if you know Marie, but
Yes.
Bless her soul.
right, she does healings where she can use up to 10 Tibetan bowls. She'll put it
Right.
on various parts of your body, and she
Right.
sounds them, and each bowl has a different vibration,
Correct.
and it could aim for a different part of the body.
Correct. I have my ting shaws. I have 5 bowls from Miss Marie, who we talked 2 hours ago. So I placed the bowls. You can see a very, very shortened version on my website, but I placed the bowls on a person, and technically you're supposed to sound them 3 times on each body part. But as you feel, if there's a blockage for the person, you really work with that spot. And I take my special footed bowl and you sound it upside down, like if there might be some unfortunate growths or something like that to help. Dr. Bernie Siegel taught at the Graduate Institute, which is the whole reason I went there. And he's a very wise man. And he has learned that, while the medical field is really important, going beyond it is also very important. Empowering ourselves, not being a victim.
Janice, are you a medium?
It seems I am. This is all new to me. Messages come to me 2, 3 in the morning, especially if I focus on somebody and I want to know something, I can get it. When somebody comes, just the oil man came in the other week, and I knew his father was here, and I we went through a couple questions, and I was able to ease his soul. So yes, I'm definitely a medium. Very new to me, still working through it.
My father has a message for me. I can feel his presence. Can you tell me what his message is?
Peace. Be at peace. You don't have to worry about achieving as much right now. You need to be at peace. Compassion for yourself. Show compassion and love for yourself, and things will get easier. I hope that makes sense to you.
It does, yep.
Any other questions?
Janice, my wife here actually wants to know if you can get a message from her mother to her.
Can you say that again, please?
My wife is sitting with me, and
Your wife. Okay, I'm talking to you. Your wife. Go ahead.
I'm right here. Hello.
She's next to me. Would just like to know if there's any way, if you can grab a message from her mother to her. She's been wanting to hear from her.
Yeah, it's been a while.
What's your wife's name, please?
Jennifer.
Jennifer?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there's a message coming. She has to watch out. She has to protect herself from negative energy. She's an empath and she allows negative energy in, which drains her spirit.
I do.
The wife, yes. And to be fully whole and live your life in more joy, you need to get better care of your needs.
Okay.
Your needs. I'm sorry, I go forward and sideways. It's part of how I get the messages. This is like, yes. This is like, no. I just go with the flow.
Okay.
Does that resonate at all for you?
I think so. Maybe. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Take it in. You know, we often get so like on the fast track that we forget to quiet ourselves. And it's easier to hear messages when you quiet yourself.
Okay. Thank you.
David Mark has a question that he just put into the chat, which is, just get this right. When will the chaos end on Earth?
Oh, I didn't bring that up, did I? There will be much turmoil in the coming years and suffering as well. Our planet is going through a great transition, raising its vibration, which is where we all come in. Mother Earth will flourish again. Living closer to the Earth will be the norm. Societies change people and the planet. A level of peace will return. We must be patient. But unfortunately, there must be some destruction before the creation. And that's where we light workers sending love and light out to the universe is so important. And again, like I said at the beginning, most important for you to take what I'm saying, value your life. Extremely important to love yourself. Everything will go easier. You won't react out of fear and anger as you have strength and joy and love within your soul.
Janice, what advice or message do you get for our entire group? I mean, we all felt intuitively to come here tonight to listen to you and get messages from you and join this lovely group and get messages from the other side, from the higher powers. Is there a generic, I don't know if that's the right word or not, is there a universal message from the higher powers in general and the masters for this group?
Keep going forward, do the right thing, send light and love and hope. We are so important to the universe. We don't even realize how our group thought helps. Well, we do, but it really makes a difference. And there will be less greed, but we have to pay a little price to get there.
Janice,
Tell-
may I ask you a question?
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
This is Kate.
Okay.
Hi. So, you had said earlier that we all have these powers within us, and I feel like I do as well. And how would you, I know you had some unusual circumstances that helped possibly heighten yours, but how would you best try to cultivate what we are, what we have been given or we can tap into?
Well, for me, I mean, I spent hours in bed today. For me, going to bed and just being raises your intuition to a very high level because you're in with yourself. You're not thinking this or that. You are with your soul source. And I mean, through the practice of Qigong and the practice of mindful meditation, and then last summer when I learned that information from that guy that he'd been living a double life, that was the first. It came to me to protect me. And but that I can only say is from just, you have to spend time like Thich Nhat Hanh, when I take a step, I take a step. When I watch the clouds, I watch the clouds. Be at one more with the universe and yourself, and it'll be easier.
Thank you.
Janice, could you say something about letting go and practicing?
I'm working on this myself. I emptied my late husband's drawers last week. 4 years later. Letting go is a gift to yourself. Letting go is a gift to yourself. Attachment creates emotional pain. Simply said as that. Attachment creates emotional pain and sadness. And when you are able to release your attachment, you will be able to live life more gleefully.
Well,
When you stay in the present moment, you're not having to let go of the past. It's already gone. I have so many blogs and articles. Focus on mindful eating, mindful everything. Be where you are. That way you're not in the past. I hope that kind of helps.
Thank you. That's great. Thank you.
Tell us about.
Bethany, Dina, Bethany had her hand up.
Yep.
Hold on a second. Okay, Bethany.
Oh, thank you so much, Janice. I'm really enjoying your talk. And my question is, how can we be more loving to ourselves? How do we know when we're being loving to ourselves? What are some things we can do?
Release negative thoughts. If it passes through your mind, delete it. So many people are looking for their purpose, and you just have to breathe into it and it will come. Ask me your question again. I don't think I completely answered it.
I actually was going to ask a question about knowing your purpose, but decided to ask a question about.
I guess I knew purpose was coming out, but your purpose comes when it comes. It doesn't necessarily go with your senior or junior year. I personally have had different purposes, and now I have this higher purpose. But if you worry about it and think about it, it's not going to come. Just always ask for your highest good, and don't allow negative dwelling thoughts, and you will achieve your highest good.
Thank you.
Dana?
How do you know when you're on the right path for sure?
Immediate thought, your gut reaction. Literally, your vagus nerve goes from your gut to your brain. And if you feel discomfort in your stomach about something, it's because you're running on ego and attachment, not on a higher purpose. When you're acting more mindlessly, you are more likely to not be listening to your instinct. And that's where they call it the gut instinct, because it relates to the brain. So if you're feeling uncomfortable and just like something isn't right, check in with yourself, because something isn't right.
Some professionals in this area say that there's two of us. Our intuitive is another one of us. Can you explain that? Is that true? Is that false? Is that can you extenuate on that?
Can you repeat that?
Sure. I've read in books that on the other side there is another me, that everybody has another me, which is the intuitive side, just communicating. It might be different entities, but there's two of us. And is that true, or is that just something that I've read it?
You are your intuitive side.
Okay.
Don't separate from your intuitive side. That's what keeps you safe.
Okay.
Keeps you from going in bad spaces. It keeps you from making wrong decisions, or if you do make the wrong decisions, it teaches you a lesson. You don't be hard on yourself. You just go, all right, I got it. I've had one of those weeks. All right, I got it. I'm sorry, in my interpretation, no, we are all as one. And when we get out of our what is it, the left brain, I'm sorry, right brain, the left brain is very rational, which is a good thing, but it doesn't it often makes it more difficult for the intuitive side. Trust me, my son just left here this afternoon, and I don't know what he thinks about mom, but what is. But no, you're intuitive deep in your gut. Just gonna quiet your mind. I swear. I promise.
Other questions?
Janice, lots of things that you're saying be mindful. And being mindful, Thich Nhat Hanh tells us be mindful while you're eating, while you're sitting. And what do you think?
I like to make beautiful meals. What you feed yourself is what you get out of your body. And I very mindfully eat. I kind of like to eat by myself. So I taste all the flavors. When I walk, I'm not always with the words of Thich Nhat Hanh, but I try to pull myself back and listening to every footstep and being aware of being aware. Watching the clouds at a stoplight is one of my favorite things. Just being close to nature. But just being aware of what you're doing. And frankly, you're less likely to have some injury come to you if you're aware of what you're doing. I'm not sure. Did that answer you?
Yes, thank you. I'm very grateful with what you're saying. You're really putting a lot of things together. Thank you.
It's not from me. It's Archangel Jophiel.
Very good.
questions?
Tina,
Yes.
do you want to make a closing remark? And we still have time if there aren't any further questions.
Okay. Well, Janice, thank you very much for presenting for us. This is your first time. I know that you were a little nervous there, but see, we care. So thank you again for that. And I guess Dana was the one that helped us to connect with the gentleman that's going to present next month. Still cannot remember his last name, but his first name is Bill. He's presented for this group many, many years ago. So we're looking forward to that.
I can get, since you don't have,
Pardon?
since you don't have his information, I can help a little bit. Just so, because the group is here,
Okay.
he took his own car and drove from Washington State to Connecticut to speak last time. It's been a number of years. His name is Bill Vandenbush, if you want to check it out online. He wrote a book called If Morning Never Comes. He lied to the government, said that he was 18. He was only like 17 or 16 when he joined the Army during Vietnam. He was shot in the head. He's had over 50 plus operations. He has a false eye, false nose. One whole side of his head doesn't exist. It's all plastic surgery. And he had a profound NDE. And the book, if you want to look the book up, he actually just did a update of the book, I think 2 years ago, a year and a half ago. But he did speak, and he's very profound in what the other side has to say for us.
Very good. We're looking forward to that. Okay. So I guess, Jack, you said that you wanted to have us do a meditation in your favor, on your behalf. Is there anything else that we need to communicate before that?
Well, if this is, if we don't have any further discussions or news, right now we have a few minutes more. If anyone wants to bring up a subject, a concern, a thought. Okay. Well,
Bethany, yeah.
Yes, I just want to share that my heart and my appreciation goes out to the entire group for the prayers for my grandmother, who successfully overcame coronavirus, and we celebrated her 99th birthday on July 2nd. So
all right.
thanks to everyone who prayed for her and had her sent positive healing energy in her direction, because she's just a spitfire. She has her sparkle back, and she's such a gift to our whole family. So thank you so much.
Oh, that's so nice to hear. Thank you, Bethany.
okay. Well, before we move on to a meditation, perhaps Sue and Bethany discuss our third Sunday of the month, which is a healing session. You might describe how it works to the others who have participated. So, Sue and Bethany, the floor is yours.
Good.
So it's gonna be this coming Sunday.
Okay.
I quickly check the calendar. This coming Sunday.
At 2 o'clock, right?
Yeah, I think so. We had 2 sessions so far. 2, right?
2 o'clock, 2 p.m., third Sunday of the month.
Yeah, but I think we had twice already. Once or twice?
Yeah.
I think it's twice.
Twice.
It's
Times.
been very good. I enjoyed the session. we had about 5 people attended. About each time was 5 people attended, and I guided to a visual garden, and I have everyone describe their garden, so I know they are tuned internally to activate their internal senses, the visual, hearing, taste, touch, and feeling. And then from there, we send out the energy. So it's been very profound to
Do
me.
you want to?
What, Jeff? Do you have any questions?
I'm sorry. Do you want to explain how people can participate, not just our members, if they have someone who is ailing and so on? How do they participate?
I think Bethany will send out an email with a link to join. It's just like this. It's a session like this. You click on the link on the computer, and then I prefer that you unmute yourself so I can hear you. I love to have feedback. So that's just how I conduct the session. I want to know where you are mentally, how you are feeling. So I will chat with you back and forth. Do you have anything to add? Bob was there for both sessions. Bethany, Deb Parker was there last time.
They have been incredible, Sue. You've just done a fabulous job of leading us in those sessions, and it's just delightful. People do send in requests to keep somebody in our positive intentions, and we have focused on people to send them energy and loving, healing energy, and it's just so uplifting for everyone who's there. I think it's a delightful experience. I think we all get a lot out of it, and it's also a great opportunity to send positive, healing, loving energy to others.
I felt a lot of good energy when we did it, so I think it's very worthwhile.
Very good.
So everyone is welcome to join, and we're gonna also have other meditation leaders. I believe we discussed about this, and Bethany may lead the session, and we may have outsiders to come and lead the session. So we collect the people's names who wants to receive the healing energy. So we'll direct to them, and we also direct to the general population. Whoever needs the healing energy will send the intention of the healing.
Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you all very much. This was our fourth session, or am I being too